From this video, you can learn how small habits can have a big impact on your life. What positive change would you like to make in your life? Maybe you want to eat healthier. Maybe you want to read more books or learn a new language. Whatever changes you would like to make, actually making them and sticking to them is easier said than done. Just wanting to eat more salad does not actually mean you will. Simply saying you will read more books does not mean you will pick up War and Peace instead of binging Netflix. But that's where habits come in. In this video, I'm going to take you through the key ideas from James Clear's bestseller, Atomic Habits. Together, we are going to discover that the key to making big changes in your life does not have to involve major upheaval. You don't need to revolutionize your behavior or reinvent yourself. Rather, you can make tiny changes to your behavior, which, when repeated time and time again, will become habits that can lead to big results. Hello and welcome to Think Big. Here we summarize books for you in an entertaining fashion. Key point number 1 is small habits can have a surprisingly powerful impact on your life. Small changes in our lives may seem negligible at first, but their impact can be considerable over time. Habits, whether positive or negative, compound and have a powerful impact on our lives. Consistently repeating small behaviors can lead to significant results. Immediate results may not be visible, but the long-term effects of habits become apparent. It's important to focus on the trajectory of your efforts rather than solely on immediate results. Saving money consistently, even if the current results are small, will lead to a major improvement in the future. Developing habits is crucial to getting on the right trajectory for success. Key point number 2. Habits are automated behaviors that we have learned from experience. When you walk into a dark room, you don't think about what to do next. You instinctively reach for a light switch. Reaching for a light switch is a habit. It's a behavior that you have repeated so many times that it now happens automatically. Habits like this dominate our lives. From brushing our teeth to driving our car, they are immensely powerful. But how are they formed? Over the decades, we have learned a lot more about habits. We now know that habits are made up of 4 distinct elements. First, there's the cue, or a trigger to act. Walking into a dark room cues you to perform an action that will allow you to see. Then comes a craving for a change in state, in this case, from darkness to light. Then comes a response or action, flicking the light switch. The final step in the process, and the end goal of every habit, is the reward. In this case, it's the feeling of mild relief and comfort that comes from being able to see your surroundings. Every habit follows the same process. Okay, now that you have an idea of how habits work, let's look at how you could develop good habits that can change your life for the better. Key point number 3 is building new habits requires hard-to-miss cues and a plan of action. Once you know how new habits are formed, you can start to hack the habit-forming process to get good, productive habits to stick. Let's say you are desperate to learn photography. You've bought a new camera. You have picked up the basics, but you struggle to keep up with practice. Each morning, you tell yourself that you will learn later on, but the end of the day soon comes, and you haven't picked up your camera once. But now that you know the secrets to building a habit, you can use it to your advantage. In this case, you want to make the cue to pick up your camera impossible to miss. Instead of keeping your camera in the cupboard or in the corner of your spare room, leave it right in the middle of your living room in full view. Make your cue visible and unmissable. This will make it easier to turn your desire to practice into a habit. Changing your environment to put your cues front and center will help. But if you want to perfect your triggers even more, you can use what's known as implementation intentions. So what are these? When it comes to setting good habits, most of us tend to be too vague about our intentions. We say, I'm going to learn photography, and we simply hope that we will follow through. Implementation intentions introduce a clear plan of action. Okay, let's turn to our photography example. Instead of telling yourself that you are going to learn photography sometime this week, tell yourself, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, when the alarm goes off, the first thing I will do is pick up my camera and practice for 1 hour. By creating an implementation intention, you will give yourself both a clear plan and an obvious clue, and it may surprise you how much easier it will be to build a positive habit. Key point number 4 is humans are motivated by the anticipation of reward. So making habits attractive will help you stick to them. Now, it's time to talk about the reward side of habit building. It's important to understand the role of dopamine in habit building. Dopamine works as a motivator. When you do an activity you like, dopamine is released, which motivates you to repeat that activity. Let me introduce you to the concept of temptation bundling, which involves linking an unappealing behavior with a behavior that is naturally enjoyable. For example, you can connect your exercise bike to Netflix, allowing you to watch shows only while cycling at a certain speed. You can transform exercise, which you find unenjoyable, into a pleasurable activity by engaging in pleasurable activities alongside important tasks. You can ride the wave of dopamine and foster positive habits. Key point number 5. If you want to build a new habit, make that habit as easy to adopt as possible. The author of Atomic Habits emphasizes that starting small and making habits easy to accomplish are crucial steps in building long-term habits. For instance, committing to reading 2 pages per night can lead to more significant actions like reading more. Key point number 6 is making your habits immediately satisfying is essential to effective behavior change. We are getting closer to the end now. The final and most important rule for behavioral change: habits need to be satisfying. For example, a couple wanted to eat out less, cook more, get healthier, and save money. These are goals with delayed returns. To give their objectives a little immediate return kick, they opened a savings account called Trip to Europe. Every time they avoided a meal out, they transferred $50 to the account. The short-term satisfaction of seeing $50 land in that savings account provided the immediate gratification they needed to keep them on track for the ultimate longer-term reward. Key point number 7 is to create a framework to keep your habits on track using trackers and contracts. While it's important to maintain good habits, it's even more important to have strategies in place to keep them up. A useful strategy to consider is habit tracking, a simple yet effective technique where you record your daily adherence to specific behaviors. By doing so, you can feel a sense of accomplishment and motivation. Another strategy is to establish a habit contract that outlines repercussions for not adhering to it. For example, if you miss a day at the gym, you would be required to pay a $100 penalty to your trainer. Therefore, by sticking to positive habits, regardless of their size, is crucial for achieving significant results in life. So, in conclusion, a tiny change in your behavior will not transform your life overnight, but turn that behavior into a habit that you perform every day, and it absolutely can lead to big changes. Changing your life is about building a positive system of habits that, when combined, deliver remarkable results. Thank you for watching Think Big. Please comment, like, and subscribe.